Hey guys, welcome back to Becoming Soulful Couple. The mission of this channel is to help singles, engaged couples, and newly married couples to learn the art of mindful marriage. And we have been interviewing good hearted people to understand their concept of mindful marriage. Today, I have a very interesting friend, and her name is Pooja, and she is going to share her ideas about mindful marriage. She's married, and let's listen to Pooja about what is her idea about mindful marriage. Before that, let's understand what Pooja is doing. I find her very, very interesting. I find her mission even more interesting because she has an organization called Nurturing Genius, where she's helping pregnant women understand the concept of raising genius babies. So her mission is like helping to raise genius and joyful baby with a proven three-step genius baby framework. Sounds very interesting, isn't it? So let's straight away ask Pooja what made her to come up with this idea, and let's understand the story behind this mission. Hi Pooja, welcome to Becoming Soulful Couple.
Thank you, Vimala. Thank you for such a great introduction and also for having me here today with you.
Yeah. So tell us about yourself and also tell us why did you start with this mission of helping pregnant women come up with genius babies.
Yeah, so I help new parents from 0 to 3 years to nurture genius babies in through the journey of parenting, which is joyful. So why I do that? Because when I was a child, things were different for me. Like from the time I remember, from the time I was probably in kindergarten or even like when I started my learning journey, it was always I remember that as a person who was not so good. I was labeled slow, I was labeled dumb, all kind of labels. Yes, and all that happens in the typical system, our schooling system. So I went through that rough patch, and things got worse when I was in fifth grade. So I failed in my fifth grade, and at that point, it was a true moment of embarrassment for me. I was so emotional because I thought as if everybody will laugh at me, especially all my friends whom I was with will all go to the next grade, and it was a moment that I just wanted to lock myself in the room because I thought that as if I brought embarrassment to my family.
How old were
And
you? Sorry, Vikram. How old were you then? Because you
10
understood
years.
10 years old.
10,
Okay.
yes. And in that summer break, because we get our results in the summer break, right? So in that summer break, my father was on a business trip, and he came back, and even before I could talk to him, he got a massive heart attack and he passed away. At that point, I actually thought that I as if lost my last chance to make him proud, because as a child, as stressed my parents were to find figure out ways for me, I was also feeling that pressure. And because of that emotional dip which I went through at that point of time, I made a decision that I will change things for me. And I did it. Like, I stood fifth in my 10th grade. I was a state topper in my diploma, got into best engineering college, and the journey went smooth from there. But what moved me is the journey which I went through, the learning journey, which should be such an amazing, enjoyable, and beautiful journey for the child and the parent. But it wasn't that for me. And I wanted to make sure that that's not how the journey is going to be for my children, and in fact, for any child for that matter. So that's what made me interested in this early childhood development when I became a mother for the first time around 10 years back. And I'm an engineer. I have had a professional career of more than 12 years, worked in many countries. But this mission of mine gave me that direction to really immerse myself into early childhood development. And what unfolded in the journey was beautiful. because all the experiences which I went through, there were a lot of these labels had a lot of damage which caused on me. And I came out because of my spiritual journey of more than 7 to 8 years, and maybe still recovering, right? So when I studied early childhood brain development, I understood that every child is a genius, but if a parent can nurture that genius into them, that innate genius which they are gifted with, then every child can live like a champion in whatever they do.
Very true. Brilliant. So, one more question, one more curiosity question. So, in our country, it was always there that the mother who is carrying a baby is always pampered, which is taken care of, her mental peace, her physical well being. Everything is well taken care of by giving her the right food, by making sure that she's very comfortable. In my days, if a pregnant woman travels in a bus, definitely there is a seat. Even a man gets up and gives her a seat. I don't know about the current situation. But she's
Right.
pampered by the entire society because they know that she is carrying a baby and it has to come out with complete mental health. My question to you is why this has become a concept in our country like this, where we need to do something, uh, especially like a course like what you're doing right now, to ensure that we bring out genius babies.
Yeah. So if you see that from the time our ancient culture, if you know the Abhimanyu story, right? Abhimanyu was learning from the time Abhimanyu was in the womb, and that's how he learned the chakra view, right? So what has happened, what I have noticed in my journey, in my friend circle, and by interviewing so many women who are pregnant, that they are so overwhelmed with the physical changes, with the hormonal changes, the emotional changes that they go through. And also, most of the mothers are working mothers, so they are balancing their life along with, so there is a lot on their plates. And while they are pampered and while their mental health is taken care of, but somewhere the definition or the meaning of learning has faded. Okay. So when we talk about learning, immediately what comes to our mind is schooling. So it has become like a synonym, but that's not true. Learning begins from the time a child is 16 days fetus in the mother's womb, even before a mother knows that she is pregnant. So a child is generating 250,000 neurons every single minute. And these neurons are like our telephone, like our phones. If there is no network, this phone is of no use, right? So these neurons are actually waiting for getting connected through experiences. And the way a parent can bring on the opportunity and the experience to the child, that much better connections these neurons can have, determining their level of intelligence, determining the optimization of the brain. So brain is like a network of telephones, right?
Yeah.
And we can actually optimize this brain.
Wow.
So
Wow. So, if I have to ask you one more final question related to that, have you had um, workshops done, or have you trained people, and how is the experience, and what is the feedback you're getting from people?
yeah, so it's very surprising that a lot of us don't know that brain and mind are two different things,
Oh,
like a hardware and a software, right? Now, to the same situation, you and me will react in a different way, and that depends on our programming,
true.
right? So the way a child will live their life depends on the programming and their power of their brain network. So these two things has to be nurtured. And all the you will be surprised to know that 90% of the way you're deciding today, or your personality is, or you're dealing with the situations in life, all depends on the way you were nurtured in your 0 to 6 years of life.
So, if I have to blame somebody, it's my mom and dad or the environment. Something goes
It's not
wrong.
about blaming. It's not about blaming, because in NLP we say that everybody does the best they know at that point of time. So it's just about lack of understanding of knowledge
Yeah.
about what learning is, and creating those opportunities. And that's exactly what I bring to my parents. And everybody has seen amazing results. Like, uh, easily what they see is their kids are very expressive, their kids are like very social, and there are things that the kids can do which people think that, oh, it is amazing, and it is like a magic, but it is not, because it is in the capability of child. Like, they can really read from the time they are 2 or 3 years old. They can have capabilities, athletic capabilities, which are extremely ahead of time for other kids of their age. Or they can do calculations very fast. So all this and a lot more can be done with the child if they are given that opportunity.
Very exciting. Very exciting to listen to this. And I think the current pregnant mothers are so lucky to have like Pooja, who's going to bring a lot of changes in when the child is even inside the womb. So all the best for you, Pooja, and I hope
Thank you.
all the mothers who are listening to this video will ensure that you connect with Pooja. And I'm going to share the details of how to contact Pooja and what are the work she's doing in my description box. Feel free to connect with her and make sure that you not only eat healthy food, not only your mind is ready, but you are also ready to receive a genius baby effortlessly with Pooja's help. So God bless you, Pooja. I'm so thrilled and I'm so happy, and from my bottom of my heart, I'm thanking you because I'm visualizing that in future all the children are going to have high self-esteem, good confidence.
Yes.
This is one of the major challenges in India, that we are so talented, but we are very bad in our self-esteem and self-confidence. Because I've been in the training industry, I see many students, trainees are so intelligent, but because they don't have self-esteem, they don't come in the front and perform, and it hurts them. They understand they are talented, but they're not able to come in the front and say, at least even in the meetings, they can't share their ideas. So I wish I can visualize how beautiful the next generation is going to be, with a lot of kids coming up with good self-esteem. Thank you, Buddha, for sharing this. Now let's get back to my questions to you, Buddha. Are you ready?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. So, Pooja, first question to you is, how many years? How many years with your married life?
So this is my 14th year.
Wow, 14 years. You don't look so. You look so young and beautiful. And
Thank you.
way back to your grandparents' marriage. Do you remember any stories about your grandparents' marriage?
Yeah,
What are the small little things you remember about your grandparents' marriage?
yeah. So, like, my grandmother used to share that she never met my grandfather before they got married. In fact, because of the dress up that they have, she did not even see my grandfather during the marriage, but she actually saw my grandfather only after she was already married. So that was something which really, really surprised me that she
Yeah.
actually got married and she didn't know anything about that person.
And what is that one lesson that your parents carried forward from their parents' marriage?
So, the one lesson I would say is, basically it's about working together. Marriage is all about working together. It's not a ready-made thing which you get, which is ready-made on the day of marriage, but it's all about working together and making it stronger every single year. So, yeah.
Okay, so if at all you have to share any uh, bitter experiences out of marriage from any of your distant relatives or friends, one lesson when you were a kid you learned from other marriages.
So I would talk from my own experience that because I married to somebody who is not of my same culture. I'm into a love marriage. I met my husband at like my work, and so as a young bride, I heard about it that it's not going to come ready made to you, but I did not definitely understand what that meant at that point of time. So I was always having a picture of some fairy tale marriage, and like we just traveling the world together. So that was my picture initially, but there is a lot more which goes into marriage for sure. And I wish that I had some mentor when I began this journey instead of me learning it. So similar to my schooling experience, as I said, of course I learned and I got through it. But if you have some mentor at the very beginning, then you can actually save a lot of your energy and rather have more smooth and
Time as well.
enjoyable journey. Time, yes, absolutely.
So, what is the one marriage lesson you learned from your parents?
From my parents, yeah. So as I told you, that they always told me that it's going to be work in progress. But as a young bride full of enthusiasm, I did not understand what that meant, and because my parents were always in the same culture, I guess that it was in certain ways easier for them. Uh, Whereas I was understanding the culture and I was getting like used to it. At the same time, I had my positive side of my marriage because both of us were working together, so we had a lot of understanding between each other in that sense, uh, which probably is very rare, and I'm very thankful about that. So what I feel is every marriage is different, and it's all about complementing each other. It's all about acceptance, I would say. It's all about acceptance, and again, this thing is very important for me, because which I have learned through my journey of this 14 years, that nothing is ready made. You have to make the fairy tale happen for you.
Okay. But there is a possibility of fairy tale happening. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I believe in it,
So why
and
don't you?
it's always in progress.
Okay. So since you came up with a beautiful word like fairy tale, why don't you define it? What do you mean by fairy tale marriage?
So I would say that there are a lot of aspects. Like in life, there are a lot of aspects. There are a lot of expectation that we as a couple have, and if one, two, three are ticked, most of the time people are satisfied. Right? There are always three main, and understanding that three main for yourself and your partner, and then working together for that three main, I think that is fairy tale for me. Because if your tank is full, like with the three main, I think other all things just go very easy. But so understanding that between partners is what I would say can create that fairy tale.
Is it possible in arranged marriage also, fairy tale marriage? Because it's yours is a love marriage,
Absolutely.
probably a lot of discussion would have gone before marriage. And
No,
the three items
I
would have happened before marriage. But is it possible in arranged?
no, no. I don't think there is any difference between love marriage and arranged marriage. Marriage is marriage, and it all depends on how much aware you are of your own self. So when you're aware, you are get more and more aware of your own self. That's where you will be able to bring out that three things or that top three things which is important for you, and that's the journey of evolution. So if a young person is brought in a situation where they are created that self awareness for themselves and understanding of themselves, that's when they will be able to better understand their partner. So I don't think there is any difference between arranged marriage or love marriage. It's the same. The journey is same, because what you know at the upper level, even though you would say that in love marriage you know a person deeper, but that doesn't happen. Living with a person is a different thing than knowing a person.
True.
So
True. I really appreciate one point what you said right now. I completely agree with you that self awareness about the individual before getting married is the key for success in any marriage. Once you understand what you want, and then once you understand what your partner wants, then you can sit and compromise on what is a priority and where you can compromise. Brilliant point, Pooja, for bringing this up. And one interesting question, I'm always interested in the kids. What is a legacy you will carry forward for your children from your marriage?
So, let me share with you some very interesting observation as a parenting coach. So, have you seen that parents are usually stressed for their children?
Yeah.
Like they are a lot stressed. Uh, that happens because initially it's the unconsciousness, as I told you, and then the architecture is already created. And after 6 to 7 years of age, the reflection happens, and that's when they start getting stressed. So, whatever they have, which they feel is lagging in them, when they see in their child, that's when the panic mode goes on. And let me tell you one very interesting thing. When they see their own something which they feel is lag, that's normal panic. But when they see something which they don't like in their partner, in their child, that is the real game. That is the real game. I know you know what I'm talking about.
So
So
I want to ask you one question quickly. Does that mean that they don't like that aspect of their partner?
exactly. So that's when I'm telling. That's what I'm telling you. That's when acceptance comes into picture. That's when a common goal comes into picture. So if they are clear before they go into parenthood, if they are clear about accepting first of all, because every couple I believe is complementing each other. And why is that why is that? Because it's for completion. It's not a competition, but it is completion. And when they have that acceptance and when they have that common goal for their child, then they can definitely create a beautiful journey for their child. Because for the child, those things which they see are minor actually, but the major is the stress. When they see stress in their parents, that's when they feel that little, that's when they start losing their confidence and self esteem, which you are talking about. So having a solid bond between parents is one very important aspect, I would say. And that's also what we talk about in our programs with parents, because all these things are there. But when you become a parent, and now that you're doing a common project together, that's when everything comes out and it reflects, if it is not worked upon previously. I can see that my growth is tremendous in the journey of parenthood, because as a couple we have become stronger. I really thank my elder daughter for all this, because that's when the entire evolution process started for me.
Our
I
elder
never thought
daughters,
so deep.
our elder daughters are
I,
always the rats. I always
she
say,
actually made me that deep person that I am. So I really thank her for that.
I also found that the current generation, more than the parenting the children from the children, we are learning a lot, and they are open to allow us to learn. And most of the time, I felt that I am being parented by my children. I'm always grateful for my daughters, because they played a very key role in my life, and whatever I am right now, it's because of them, the cooperation they gave me, the maturity they had. I really appreciate that modern kids are uh, parenting their parents more than the asking of
Absolutely.
parents. Yeah, so,
Absolutely. So I also say that my daughters are my main mentors because they are showing you the reflection all the time.
mm,
And as you said, being vulnerable or being open to your child helps a lot. Like, it's not that you have to always give that perfect picture, because I am also not perfect. I'm working and growing each day into parenthood and also as a couple. But being that, having that openness that yes, we are growing together as well. So I think that helps in creating deeper bond with our children as well.
Perfect. So I think I've come to the end of the final question. So if at all you want to give one message for the modern marriage, who are yet to get married or who are really engaged and who are newly married, what is the one message you will give them to have a very soul-filled marriage or trying to become a soulful life partner or being very mindful in the marriage? Give me one best practices you had in your marriage that can impact my target audience.
So this is one thing which I learned from one of my mentors, that it's not about one half apple and another half apple coming together to become a full apple, but it's about one half apple coming together with another so that they both can grow into full apples.
Wow. Yeah, beautiful.
So this journey is all about completing yourself while complementing your partner. So I would say just grow together and enjoy that journey of growth and accept the flaws, because flaws is fun.
Yeah, true. You have anything to say about your program to my audience so that where can they come and contact you? How do they connect with you?
So if your audience, anybody from your audience is either pregnant or has a child below 3 years of age, they can join my VIP group, Facebook group, and that's where I connect with my audience, and I post a lot of videos for them to understand all aspects of nurturing a genius baby. And also in the group we have all the information about the upcoming programs and everything. So I would highly recommend them for joining the Facebook group.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time, Pooja. It was so interesting talking with you about various aspects. We didn't stop talking about marriage. We spoke about giving birth to genius babies as well. So, guys, you are gaining more. So you can plan for your marriage, you can plan for your pregnancy, you can plan for your genius babies as well. And please keep in touch with Pooja. I'm going to share all the details about Pooja in the description box. And I think you all enjoyed this discussion with Pooja. So we'll wind up, Pooja. Thank you so much for being on my show, guys. I'll come back with another interesting interview and see you again in Becoming Soulful Couple. And thanks a lot. Love you, Pooja. Bye-bye.
Bye.